guys.
Excuse us. This is a special report from the Van Nuys Courthouse. Both Menendez brothers have been found.
You have a prepaid call from
Lyle Menendez. My name is Lyle Menendez. I'm at RJ Donovan State Prison in San Diego, California, and I am here for killing my parents. My brother and I were convicted together.
My dad had been molesting me. Hey, right?
Did you ask him not to?
Yes.
This is one of the most talked about true crime cases of the 1990s. A story that shocked America. Two brothers, Erik and Lyle Menendez, convicted of brutally killing their wealthy parents in Beverly Hills. But now, decades later, something's changed. New evidence has surfaced. TikTok is exploding. A new generation is asking new questions, and suddenly the story of the Menendez brothers isn't just a crime from the past. It's a living conversation happening right now. Let's go back. In August 20th, 1989, Jose and Kitty Menendez are murdered in their Beverly Hills mansion while watching TV. The attack is vicious, close-range shotgun wounds. No forced entry, no signs of robbery. It didn't take long before suspicion turned towards their son, Erik and Lyle. At first, they played the grieving children. They held a lavish funeral. They cried on national television. But behind the scenes, their behavior raised eyebrows. Their spending exploded. Erik brought a Porsche, Lyle wore Rolexes, and started living like royalty. Then, in 1990, less than a year after the murders, it all unraveled. Erik confessed to his therapist. The therapist told his girlfriend, and she told the police. Soon after that, both brothers were arrested, and the trial that followed was like something out of a soap opera. But here's where things got complicated. Erik and Lyle never denied the killings. They admitted it, but they claimed it wasn't out of greed. It was out of fear. According to their testimony, they had endured years of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Their father, Jose, was allegedly controlling and violent. Their mother, Kitty, they said, turned a blind eye. They didn't kill for money. They killed because they believed their lives were in danger. Some people believed them, others didn't. The first trial ended in 2 hung juries, one for each brother. But during the second trial, everything changed. Cameras were banned, testimony about abuse was severely limited, and this time, the jury found them guilty, both convicted of first-degree murder. In 1996, they were both sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And for most, that was the end of the story. But then, something strange happened. People didn't forget. In fact, the conversation started again, and this time it was different. Social media brought the case to a whole new audience. Gen Z, who weren't even alive when the murders happened, started digging deeper, watching old footage, reading court transcripts, asking, what if they were telling the truth? What if they were victims too? What if we got it wrong? Then in 2023, a bombshell dropped. Netflix released a documentary series called Menendez plus Menudo, Boys Betrayed. And it didn't just revisit the case, it revealed shocking new evidence. In the series, Roy Rosello, a former member of the boy band Menudo, came forward with explosive claims. He alleged that Jose Menendez, yes, the father of Erik and Lyle, had sexually abused him in the 1980s. At the time, Jose worked for RCA Records, the label that managed Menudo. According to Roy, he was drugged and raped by Jose in a New York apartment. His story was horrifying, and it echoed everything the Menendez brothers had said all those years ago in court. If true, this new testimony doesn't just support Erik and Lyle's claims, it confirms them. It paints their father not as the polished executive that public saw, but as a man hiding devastating secrets. So what now? Erik and Lyle have spent over 30 years in prison. They were just teenagers when they were arrested. Now, they're in their 50s. For years, they filed appeals, tried to have their sentences reconsidered with no success. But now, this new evidence has caught the attention of lawyers, journalists, and most importantly, the public. People are asking, should the brothers get a new trial? Should their sentences be reevaluated? Were they survivors who were punished for surviving? And more than that, how do we, as a society, understand trauma? In the 1990s, it was almost unthinkable that two rich kids from Beverly Hills could be victims of abuse. The media didn't want to hear it. The public didn't want to believe it. The narrative was simple: spoiled brats who wanted their parents' money. But today, we understand trauma better. We know victims don't always look like victims, that abuse hides behind closed doors, that fear doesn't always scream, it whispers. That's why Gen Z is so invested in this case. They're not just watching, they're speaking out, making TikToks, posting videos, writing letters to Erik and Lyle asking, what if we were wrong? Even celebrities are taking notice. Today, Erik and Lyle are in separate prisons, but they stay connected through letters, supporting each other, holding on. Both have expressed remorse for what happened. They don't deny the killings, but they still insist, we weren't monsters, we were terrified kids. Whether you believe them or not, one thing is certain, this case is far from over. Thanks to new testimony, renewed attention, and a public unwilling to let go, this story is alive again. Legal teams are pushing for the case to be reopened, and for the first time in decades, the possibility of justice, real justice, is back on the table. Only time will tell what happens next. Court cases move slowly, appeals take years. But one thing is clear, the Menendez case is no longer just a crime story from the 90s. It's a growing conversation about trauma, justice, and the courage to question the past. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to this powerful and complex story. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime content, real stories that matter, and updates you won't want to miss. Because sometimes the truth takes time to come out.